Some parts of the internet were built to stay hidden. There are no real names, no addresses, and no memory. There, stolen credit cards are traded. Military documents, intelligence information, and human beings. In just a 6-month period, 14 million stolen credit cards were offered for sale there. Confidential Russian missile systems documents were offered for sale by hackers. And states, they are not only fighting the dark web, they operate inside it. They recruit agents, they run sources, without crossing a border. And in closed forums that circulate around these arenas, links sometimes appear leading to extreme criminal content. Some of the sites claim they offer services on demand. And even when they are scams, their very existence raises a deeper question. Not only what people are willing to do, but what they're willing to fund. This is the dark web, not just a place for crime, an economy, an intelligence system, a digital battlefield. So what is it, really? Who operates it? How is a stolen identity priced? And why does a currency like Monero change the rules of the game? Today, we are entering the depths of the dark web, layer by layer. Welcome to Off the Record. May 2nd, 2023. During an international operation known as Operation Spectre, 288 suspects were arrested worldwide. Tens of millions of dollars in cash and cryptocurrency were seized, along with drugs, weapons, and digital infrastructure used to run online marketplaces. The operation followed Disruptor and was later succeeded by Huntor. Each time a market is dismantled, another emerges. Behind those numbers are real people. Daniel is one of them. He lives in Manchester and works in logistics. He has never visited the dark web. Yet one morning his bank account was frozen. Multiple credit cards had been opened in his name, a loan application, a trading account. Investigators later suggested that his personal data had likely been bundled and sold on an underground market. Part of what is known as a full identity kit. So, for Daniel, it was his salary, his name, his sense of control. If until now we spoke about states and money, here we are dealing with direct crime. Anonymous networks are used to distribute illegal and exploitative material. Drugs, weapons, forged documents and stolen identities like Daniel's. This isn't chaos. It's structured product pages, seller ratings, escrow systems, encrypted chats. The interface often resembles a conventional online store. Drugs are packaged and shipped through postal systems. Weapons are sold in parts. Documents are built to order. In some cases, websites that appear to sell clothing or electronics have been used as fronts for laundering illicit funds. Activity is not always hidden. Sometimes it is simply disguised. When authorities shut down one marketplace, another rises in its place. An investigation may take months. Setting up a new platform can take days. The darknet didn't invent crime, it gave it structure. It provided infrastructure, anonymous communication, payment without banks, reputation without identity. In one of the closed forums I monitored, links appeared to extreme criminal content, prohibited violent and sexual material. Some of the sites presented themselves as services for hire, including harming people in exchange for payment. Later investigations revealed that some of those sites were scams. Others were handled by authorities. But their very existence exposes something deeper. Not only what people are willing to do, but what others are willing to pay for. The moment the darknet gained anonymity and digital payment, it became a structured market. Platforms with user accounts, seller ratings, and escrow systems turned crime into an interface. The primary commodity, information. In the second half of 2021 alone, more than 14 million stolen credit cards were offered for sale. This is not a lone hacker. It is an industry. Beyond credit cards, Full identity kits are sold bundles of personal data enabling bank accounts, loans, and parallel digital identities. Behind each listing stands a chain, a data breach, a broker, a marketplace, a buyer, services expanded, malware for rent, ransomware as a service. You no longer need technical skill, you can outsource the crime. According to Chainalysis, darknet markets continue to generate hundreds of millions of dollars annually, even after major takedowns. Markets disappear, new ones emerge, the infrastructure persists. The darknet is not just a market, it is an active intelligence arena. Activity within it is not conducted under a real name, but through avatars. An intelligence avatar is not a random fictitious account. It is an identity built over time, a consistent biography, stable writing style, matching time zone, documented activity history. It opens accounts, participates in professional discussions, carries out small transactions in order to build reputation, uses personal encryption, and establishes gradual trust. The goal is not to obtain information immediately. The goal is to become part of the environment. Closed criminal forums, especially in Russian or Persian-speaking arenas, are not open to every user. Entry requires a recommendation from a veteran member, presentation of proof of activity, and sometimes payment of high entry fees. Some forums require verification through personal encryption keys, internal background checks, and attempts to expose imposters. This is an embedded filtering and counterintelligence mechanism. To operate there, one must understand cultural codes, form of address, internal hierarchy, technical style. A mistake in language, writing pattern, or behavior may lead to suspicion. A high-quality avatar is maintained consistently over months and sometimes years. It doesn't change its story, does not jump between fields, and does not act in an unusual manner. It lives within the community. At the same time, intelligence agencies conduct both passive and active monitoring. Passive monitoring includes continuous scanning of forums and markets to identify early leaks, offers to sell sensitive information, or coordination of operations. Active infiltration includes building identities and operating them in order to create connections, purchase information, or identify sources. On the darknet, files stolen from defense industries, government bodies, and energy companies sometimes appear, schematics, procurement documents, technical specifications. In recent years, leaks related to Russian defense sectors have been reported, and in underground spaces, documents concerning advanced systems such as S-300 air defense systems have appeared. In the context of military cooperation between Russia and Iran, including air defense systems, unmanned aerial vehicles, and transfer of knowledge, the value of such information increases. Early identification of the appearance of documents in a closed forum may precede public publication or official reporting. This space is not one-sided. States monitor forums in which other states operate. State-affiliated avatars may identify one another. This is a friction zone. The boundary between crime and intelligence blurs. The same network serves a drug dealer, a malware operator, or a state cyber unit. Smuggling networks, money laundering, and the use of privacy coins may serve criminal activity or indirect funding tied to state interests. Anonymity is not absolute. Many exposures occurred due to mistakes, reuse of identity, overly consistent writing patterns, accidental linkage between a crypto wallet and an identified account, or failure in operational separation. Intelligence relies on mistakes. In a space where everyone is hiding, one mistake is enough. Behind every avatar is a person trying not to be seen and someone else trying to find them. The darknet is not only an information arena, it is an alternative financial channel. In a world where sanctions rely on control over banks, SWIFT, and the US dollar system, any mechanism that enables value transfer outside that network becomes a strategic asset. This is where states enter. Iran operates under heavy sanctions, and reports have linked entities tied to the Revolutionary Guards to smuggling, money laundering, and cyber operations. By using cryptocurrencies and anonymous networks, financial flows can bypass Western oversight. The same ecosystem has supported phishing and influence campaigns targeting Western institutions. North Korea went further, turning cyber operations into a source of state revenue. The Lazarus Group has been linked to major cryptocurrency breaches worth billions. In this model, cyber activity is not only espionage, it is a funding mechanism. After the invasion of Ukraine and the expansion of sanctions, the use of crypto and anonymous services for cross-border transfers increased. Hydra Market, once one of the largest Russian-language darknet platforms, became a hub for drugs, laundering, and forged documents before being dismantled in a joint US-German operation. The case illustrated how large-scale criminal infrastructure can operate alongside state pressure. China has long been associated with industrial espionage, and stolen databases and research sometimes surface in underground forums. The pattern is consistent: anonymous access, remote intrusion, and distribution outside formal channels. At the same time, the United States and Israel are not merely observers. Operations against platforms such as Silk Road and Hydra Market have demonstrated capabilities in infiltration, blockchain tracking, and coordinated arrests. The darknet is not one-sided. It is a contested space. What Iran, North Korea, Russia, and China share, and on the other side, the United States and Israel, is not alignment of interests. It's something more technical. They often rely on similar tools. The darknet is a space where crime, intelligence, and sanctions use the same tools. But technological architecture alone is not enough. For such a system to function, a payment mechanism that does not depend on banks is required. At the center of that shared toolkit lies one critical element: payment. This is where privacy coins enter. Bitcoin operates on a public blockchain. Transactions are pseudonymous and can be analyzed retrospectively. Monero was built differently. By default, it hides sender, recipient, and transaction amount through built-in obfuscation. The implication: there is no transparent chain that is easy to analyze. In environments requiring money laundering or sanctions evasion, privacy coins reduce traceability. Monero is therefore common in darknet markets and in payments designed to reduce analytical exposure. For blockchain investigators, this is a shift from a relatively transparent system to a dark room. The darknet is an operational layer where money moves outside the global financial system. Information appears before it becomes public, and states and criminal organizations use the same tools for entirely different purposes. This isn't another world. It runs on the same global network, just under different rules, and the struggle over it is conducted quietly. To understand how the darknet became a space of organized crime, you have to understand that it didn't happen in a single day. It wasn't an explosion, it was a sequence. The first component was anonymity. Tor was developed by elements within the United States government for the purpose of anonymous communication. Later, it was released as open source code and became available to the public. The mechanism is simple. Traffic passes through several random nodes, and each one removes a single layer of encryption. No node holds the full picture. Tor was not created for crime, but it created a new reality. It is difficult to know who is behind the computer and difficult to locate where the server is hosted. It was a technological turning point. The second component was money. In 2009, Bitcoin entered the scene, a direct digital payment between two parties, without a bank, without a financial intermediary, and without a geographic border. It is not completely anonymous, but it does not require approval from a central authority. For the first time, it became possible to sell an illegal product and receive payment without a bank account. Anonymity and direct payment created the possibility, but still not a market. The third component was trust. Darknet marketplaces adopted escrow systems. The buyer pays, the platform holds the funds, and the seller is paid only after delivery is confirmed. This solved a central problem: how to transact with someone you have never met. Ratings and reviews followed. Reputation became currency. Identity mattered less than performance. With escrow and feedback in place, crime gained structure. Roles specialized: hacker, broker, marketplace operator, crypto launderer. What began as isolated acts evolved into a coordinated value chain. The Darknet didn't invent crime, it gave it structure. Anonymity opened the door. Bitcoin made payment possible. Escrow made strangers trust each other. And once reputation became currency, the system stopped being chaotic. It became economic. From that point on, it was no longer opportunistic. It was economic. Daniel's case was eventually resolved. The accounts were closed, but somewhere else, another identity was listed. And that person probably doesn't know it yet. The Darknet is not a myth. It is an active system, a space that enables anonymous communication, payments without banks, and the transfer of information outside the official system, with pricing mechanisms, ratings, and trust systems. Identities, access to systems, and illegal goods receive clear monetary value there. It is also an intelligence arena. States purchase information, operate sources. They monitor quietly. Leaks appear there before they reach the media. Money moves there before banks identify it. And it is also a zone of confrontation between hackers and authorities, between sanctions and evasion, between those trying to hide and those trying to expose. The Darknet is not another world. It is the same network, but with different rules. And the struggle over it has not ended. It is simply conducted beneath the surface.